One of the things that I love the most about the miniature painting hobby is that you never quite learn everything. And you'll learn all these different skills and all this different stuff, and you'll think, man, I got this in the bag. And then something will happen and it'll hit you like, how come I never thought of doing that before? It's the most simple thing. This is completely going to change the way I paint. That happened to me this week. The more that I learn about Infinity, the more I kind of gain respect for Corvus Belli, who makes the game, because it's been around for 20 years, and where other games have come and gone, Infinity has kind of been this constant, and that's just slowly been growing with time. And I honestly stopped where probably most of you did, where you look at the game and you think, wow, this seems kind of cool, but then you look into like army building and all this other stuff and it's kind of like, oh man, this is a little overwhelming. What am I going to do? Stick to it. Seriously, stick to it. Learn a little bit of the lore if you want to, learn a little bit how army building is. It's not that bad once you get into it, and the models are just so cool and different, and painting them is fun every single time because you're never painting the same one twice. Like every unit is different, every group of units is different. It's fantastic. And one of the big beefs that people have with Infinity is that their models are still metal. Okay, and not all of them. Okay, Infinity models come in different ranges, there's different sizes, and mostly the generic small units come in the metal, but they've been able to do metal and keep costs down, which is what has allowed them to survive as a company for this long, and so yeah, they still do metal, and it's crazy the detail that they're able to get with that metal. And when you get into little bigger models, they'll generally move to plastics and things like that are really easy to work with too. And so all in all, they're easy to work with. They're usually easy to put together. Cool models. And I realized that of the 4 or 5 models that I painted over the last couple months from Infinity, I have never painted one from the faction that I thought was the coolest. And that was the JSA, which is, they're these Japanese, units that have samurai, and not just samurai, we're talking like big robot samurais and other things like that. And I realized I had never painted one, and so I thought, this sounds like fun, I'm gonna do it. And while I was painting it, I realized that there was something super simple that I just hadn't ever done because I didn't think it was maybe proper. I thought, I gotta paint this thing, I gotta stay in the lines, I can't go out of the lines, I gotta just paint it a set way. And while painting this, I learned that that's not the case. And did I do a great job painting outside the lines? No, but I loved doing it every second. Okay, to start things off, first thing I did was prime the model black, put it together, and then I highlighted it. It's kind of like a zenithal highlight, but I just did it with a dry brush and some white paint because I like how it looks. I knew that the JSA units were white and red, and that was about all I know. I had seen a few of them, but I thought, I'm going to do this my own way. I'm going to do it a little different. And in the end, it actually ended up looking just like the box art for this one, which I promise was not intended. But first thing I did was hit all the panels with Devout White. All the paints that I use for this are the P3 paints because I really like them, and honestly, they're the only paints I have. So I used them. Once I was done with the armor plating, I hit all of the black that I wanted to do with Thamar Black. It's an awesome black. It's really thin already, but it covers really well, but you don't have to thin it. So I love that. And all of the areas that were black metallic, I went back and hit with Boiler Black a little later on in the process. But overall, I just really liked the stark contrast between the white and black. And then thinking to myself, I know what these guys don't have. They don't have green on them. I'm going to paint his backpack green. you know, do like an army green, and he has these tendrils coming out of the back of his head like hair, and I thought, I'll paint those green too, make it look awesome. I was honestly thinking like ogres from like Japanese anime with like the different hair and stuff. And anyway, this is where the big difference comes in. I had never thought of just doing lines over the top of things, you know, adding my own paint job to something. I'd always done it just, well, this thing is lined in here, it's going to be red, and then the belt's going to be brown, and then the pants are going to be a darker brown, and like I made everything have its specific color. And this time I decided to change that up by making it my own and putting the stripes on it and doing everything I thought my own way. And to me, that was huge. And then I went back to do these swords, and I was like, I'm going to make these swords glow, which ended up being just an absolute nightmare. Just to kind of go back, the green that I used for the backpack was Ordic Olive, and the red that I was using for doing the lines and everything was Khador Red. And honestly, I spent about 20-30 minutes redoing those swords over and over and over again. And in the end, I kind of came to, you know what? I like this. I think it looks good. They're not as bright as I would like them to be, as like glowing, but they turned out like this. And in the end, I was super happy with how this model turned out. And like I said, I had never thought to just like draw lines straight over the top of 3 different panels of armor. You know, I'd always thought, well, there's 3 different panels. They should be different colors or all the same color. And I know that sounds stupid, but like if you go back and you look at my videos and look at all the stuff that I've painted, you'll see that I'm telling the truth, that like I had always done things just like, this should be this way, this should be this way. Like it never clicked in my head. You know, it's like a 5-year-old learning how to color. I'm just staying in the lines when I should be being artistic and bringing my own stuff to it. And now that I've done that, I'm looking for ways to do it more. I'm looking for ways to add my own little bits and pieces to the armor and make the armor of units and things like that look like something that's mine. And I think that's where Warhammer excels, because their armor is so plain and simple shaped. I mean, look at them. Their legs are basically 2 pieces of, you know, 2 cylinders. But it allows you to paint and do whatever you want to it and make it yours and to customize it. And I think deep down, people like that. People like not being told what to do and just being told, go ahead, do whatever you want. And so I love it when units give you areas to do that. And I think these models are perfect examples of that. They have the big pauldrons. The legs aren't too crazy busy. There's pieces in everything that you can change and make your own. And so that's what I love about this Infinity model. And I'm going to be painting some other Infinity models in the coming weeks, some bigger stuff that I am super pumped and excited for. So if you'd like that, please drop a like, subscribe, follow the channel. It costs you nothing, and if you ring that little bell, it'll just remind you every time I post something new, and you can come back and drop comments and tell me what I'm doing wrong, or tell me whatever you want. My question for you today is simply like, do you like it when models have those big spaces that allow you to paint whatever you want, or do you like it more when it doesn't have those and just painting the colors and changing things makes the model yours in and out of itself? You know, do you prefer simple models over more complex? Because I know some painters hate complexity and others like it because it's just cool and it looks good, right? So let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to read those, and I respond to all the comments I get. So as always, thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to do more Infinity stuff in the future. I haven't forgot my Warmachine. It's still here. I'm going to keep going there as well. And I got a lot of stuff to paint, and I'm loving every minute of it. So I hope you enjoy painting your armies too. And as always, don't spend so much time building your world that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time.